See, sitting down. Peace, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? Peace. Welcome back to another dope session of HOODIES the podcast. I'm the host, the God Rashidi. I ain't gonna waste none of you's time. Let's go ahead and get into this. Okay? All right. First off, I gave some bad info. Some real bad info. The source that told me that Tyler Perry owned BET was not a credible source. It was not a credible source. And I was about to say there's a good chance that the information I gave about Shannon Sharpe was not accurate, but I know that's not accurate because he just did a new episode with Stephen A. Smith. Tyler Perry does not own BET. BET is not black owned. I was wrong. Source was not credible. Shannon Sharpe does in fact own Club Shay Shay. Okay? All I got to say to that is I will do better. I promise I'll do better. I'll dig deeper and definitely do my due diligence before saying something. All right? Okay? We good? Okay. Yo, you see what happens when you mind other people's business? So, moving right along, here's some information that is most definitely correct. Most definitely correct. And this information is about Michael Noak. Or Noak, whatever you want to, Michael Noak, Noak, whatever. He's also known as Brother POLIGHT. Brother POLIGHT. And for those of you who don't know, I did a podcast called 10%er a hot little minute ago. And it was about how I was one of the many folk who was scammed by that nigga. Go watch that. It's called 10%er. Go watch it. Okay? The link, I'll put the link in the description. All right? So I'm reporting on this now because it turns out that not only is Michael a financial predator, he's also a child predator. That's right. Brother POLIGHT had some inappropriate dealings with a 14-year-old girl at a hotel in Florida 2 years ago. This 14-year-old girl was the daughter of one of his girlfriends, right? He took advantage of this young lady, poured liquor down her throat and drugs, according to the mother.
What you have done to my daughter, myself, and my entire family is inexcusable. You hurt us all. You made me believe that you were such a great man and you could do no wrong. You made me fully trust you, and for that my daughter trusted you too. But the truth is, you're a monster, a demon. The very first time that I allowed you to be alone with my daughter, the very first time you couldn't even help yourself, you told me you was going to be right back. You were going downstairs. You were going to grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am. And I actually believed you. I believed that you were going to bring her right back. I thought you were going to have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl. The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate my baby. Shame on you. I trusted you to bring her right back. You were supposed to bring her back the same way that you took her. Instead, you drugged her and took advantage of her. You sexually abused her. You forced alcohol down her throat. You then forced her to see things that no child should ever have to see. You forced her to feel things that no child should have to feel. You forced her to accept violence that no child should ever have to endure.
And all of this was supposed to happen around 2 a.m. That's a little suspect. I'm not necessarily sure why the mother would allow that, but to my understanding from what I heard, she trusted him. She trusted him. Long story short, she trusted him, right? So my condolences to that young sister, the 14-year-old, the mother, and all her family. This is very unfortunate, right? This is very fucked up, in fact. right? I am, however, extremely happy that this nigga's going to jail. Get this nigga out the way, right? Then, right? I dug a little into this. Go to his Instagram page. I'm blocked from it, but I went through Safari and got in, right? And this nigga is like, you know, having like a party. He's having a party. Like charges dropping, everybody chilling, everybody lit, everybody having a good time. Shit was crazy. Claiming that the charges got dropped. That nigga fronting though. And yeah, I said nigga. Very intentional with that. That nigga fronting. That nigga got some time. It should have been longer. It should have been longer. And if you watch this clip right here, I'm gonna let it play first.
The mother and the daughter and the prosecution dropped every single sexual charge. I'm saying it again. The mother, the daughter, my accusers, in addition to the state, the prosecution, all agreed they need to drop all of the sexual charges. So yeah, it's a victory, but it's bittersweet. It's a victory because I was facing life. No parole, no probation. Now you may say, how could this be possible if a minor was so-called molested and it was DNA evidence? And people say DNA don't lie. And I always said people do.
If you watch that clip, he says the sex charges were dropped. The sex charges were dropped. Right? That had to do, according to the paperwork, according to, you know what I'm saying, the sources I dug into, that had to do with the mother not wanting her daughter to have to go through trial and the traumas that come along with that. Right? Reliving what happened, this, that, and the third. Not because he's innocent. You see what I'm saying? Not because he's innocent. Right? The prosecutors offered a plea deal because the mother agreed to that. And okay, the sex offender part, or the label of sex offender, that was removed also as a part of the plea deal. So he pled guilty to lesser crimes. Lesser crimes that still got him slated to do 7 years jail time, 10 years probation, no unsupervised contact with children, and 25 grand in restitution. Right? I wasn't too familiar with that term, restitution. Right? What that is just compensation for injury or loss.
That's what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of deliberate contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931. Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page next to defendant's initials MN. Did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4 Having read the above-mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Terrace, I, Michael Noak, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement, and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noak. Is that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney. Has anybody, including your lawyer, told you anything differently than what I've just told you?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication affecting your ability to understand me?
No.
Is anybody forcing, threatening, or coercing you to enter into this plea?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, the entry of this plea will have negative immigration consequences, including deportation and removal?
I understand.
You had the right, sir, to have gone to a jury trial where your lawyer had the ability to compel the attendance of witnesses on your behalf, the ability to confront and cross-examine the witnesses and evidence against you. You had the right to testify just like any other witness, or remain silent.
Innocent people don't go through these type changes. See, Brother POLIGHT ain't dumb. He knows that niggas don't read. He know that. He knows that niggas don't listen. He knows niggas are enamored with a slick talker, right? I'm not saying that TD Jakes is a fraud. I wouldn't know that. I'm not saying that Creflo Dollar is a fraud. I wouldn't know that. I'm not saying Joel Osteen or any of these preachers are frauds. I got my own thoughts about religion and all, but that's got nothing to do with this. I can't say that these dudes are frauds because I wouldn't know that, right? But a lot of folk follow those men. So when something comes out about them, people are going to stand up for them. You understand? Just like people are probably standing up for Brother POLIGHT still. Right? People are enamored with a slick talking nigga and a slick talking white boy. It's just the truth. Right? So he gonna have a hard time inside, man. He's gonna have a hard time inside. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he bumps into some folk that he scammed before, or somebody who's related to somebody that he scammed before. I hope so, man. I hope so. Somebody gonna press him about these charges. You know what I'm saying? He might be in solitary confinement. He might be segregated from everybody else. And sure, sex offender, that ain't on him. Meaning that's not gonna be in his paperwork. You feel me? But they might not care. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm glad to see that he got some time. I'm glad to see that nigga got some time. 7 years ain't enough for being inappropriate with a child, for taking advantage of a child. 7 years is not long enough, but 7 years is the number of completion. What does that have to do with this? Well, hopefully this completes his tenure as a scammer and a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that's the end of his tenure and he'll stay the fuck out the way. Dead ass. And like I said once before, if you still rocking with him, right, then you obviously ain't spending no money on what he's offering. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, some kind of course on credit, or whether it's for credit restoration, you ain't putting no money. If you still fucking with him like that, you ain't putting no money up. You just a cheerleader. You just a follower. You know what I mean? You a dunce. You just a clinger on. That's what you are. Because if you put money where your mouth was, if you spent money with this man, you would have been scammed. You would already know that. You wouldn't be saying that everybody else is trying to tear a black man down. You would know. Dead ass. You know what I'm saying? Michael Noak is finally getting his. And when y'all press him, ask the nigga what my 2650 is. Word up. I'm bugging. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to report that information It's credible. You know what I'm saying? It's credible. And listen, I love black people, but like Chris Rock said, I hate niggas. I love black people, but I hate niggas. I hate niggas, especially one like that brother. You know what I'm saying? Fronting like you for the people. And I guess somehow along the way, he saw how easy it was to take advantage. That's all coming to an end. That man's gonna sit in. That man's gonna sit inside for 7 years. Word. And before I get out of here, I'm glad he going in. You know what I mean? Anybody taking advantage of the people, nah, man. You need to get you're a blood sucker. Get the fuck out of here. And anyway, shout out to my family, man. Had a great time. Just came back from seeing family. Had a great time. You know what I mean? Didn't see everybody. I didn't see my cousin, Brandon. He's there in Chicago. I didn't see my Aunt Pam. She's there. Well, I didn't see my brother, but chances was slim on that anyway. And the crazy part is, me and my brother are estranged. And yeah, I tried, to rekindle or fix things and try to get to the root of the problem. So I'm good with not reaching out. My thing is, I hate how when I leave, when I'm on my way to the airport, I hate how guilty I be feeling. Like maybe it's something I could have did. I be torn there for a second. But sometimes, man, listen. Sometimes we end up showing people how to treat us. If we keep trying to reach out and make amends for something we don't even know we did, we just trying to fix the problem and put whatever bullshit is there behind us. When you keep trying to reach out and this person, for the most part, gives you their ass to kiss, you showing them how to treat you. You showing them that it's okay to treat you like shit. Even when you're the one trying to be the bigger man. At what point does it stop? At what point does a man say, you know what? It is what it is. My number's still the same. You dial my number, I'll pick it up. But yeah, anyway, had a great time with family. I needed a little bit of time off. You know what I mean? It was wonderful. Shout out to my niece Zari. You know what I'm saying? Who is with child. Went to a baby shower while I was there. Met the child's father. Seemed like a decent young man. You know what I mean? So shout out to my niece Zari and the unborn boy Nylan. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, new life. Word. That's about it, man. I just wanted to get that off. I just wanted to correct the blunder that I made some podcasts back. And yeah, that's what it is. Thank you for watching. I'm Nagar Rashidi. This is Hoodies, man. Peace. Word.
Subscribe to this channel.